Hi, my name is Artemis Record. I am a senior program manager for new product development at Vicor in Andover, Massachusetts. Today, I am delighted to be here telling you a few things I have learned along the way on my journey as an engineer. Starting with my childhood and my family, this is me as a 3-year-old. Women have always played a key role in my life. I grew up very close to my mother. We also lived with my extended family, aunts and uncles, and they constantly showered me in their affection. And I was not spoiled with things, but they always made time for me. They made time to listen to my nonsense stories, and they answered my never ending questions as I was a child, full of wonder and curiosity. I grew up also adoring my mathematician father. Um, Looking back, I probably put more effort in math than any other subject um, just to be like him. In my preteen years and as a teenager, I took an interest in biographies of scientists and philosophers. This is Ibn Sina. Um, he was a 10th, 11th century philosopher and scientist and a physician. Um, he's actually known as the father of modern medicine. I watched and studied his life with such admiration. And of course, Madame Curie, I read about her life and her journey from Poland as a girl in Poland to France, and how um, she came to be a scientist that she was. And I would fall asleep dreaming of becoming like her. Honesty and directness was also another family trait. I learned early on that if you cared about someone, you will not let them fall into a ditch. You let them know what lies ahead. Even if it's unpleasant for them to hear, you have to confront it. And unless unless you do that, you don't really show that you care about them. So this was something that got etched into my personality early on. And of course, being independent, my parents made it clear to me that as a girl, my happily ever after was not to marry someone and be in their shadow. I tell you a quick story. I grew up in Iran. One summer afternoon, my dad was trying to fix something about the AC that was broken, and me and my brothers marched right behind him. We were just watching over his shoulder. And he stopped and he looked at me and handed me a screwdriver and said something that it shaped a lot of who I am. He said, "Just because you're a girl does not mean you shouldn't know how to do this." And that became a template that I followed in so many ways that and in so many different situations. And then came the day when I left home, when I left Iran, of course. Here's my airplane leaving the sunny Iran, and I settled, of all places, in Maine, one of the coldest states in the United States. As a young adult, I had to learn about budgeting. And I don't just mean money, I mean money and time. I was an engineering student, which meant a lot of work. I had to be very smart about how I managed my time and what I spent my time on. There were times that I just wanted to give up, but I knew I couldn't because of all the work that I had already invested into my studies, and I couldn't let that go for nothing if I don't graduate. Someone very wise told me that just keep your eyes on the prize. And of course, along the way, I had friends that were like my family. Here's a group of friends that I had. This is a very young Artemis in college, and my friends and roommates that were in the engineering program and also in some other programs at UMaine. My first work experience was my co-op. It was at a paper mill, which is not the most glamorous places to work at, but I learned a few very critical things. I understood the significance of safety and a safe work environment. That was something that they took very seriously at the paper mill. I also saw the significance of tools and resources that were at my disposition in order to get results and run experiments and do engineering work. I learned the value of commitment. In a paper mill, a day starts very early. I had to be there at 6:30 a.m. We always had our morning meeting at 7 a.m. with the whole technical department. So this was a bit of a change in the lifestyle for a college student, but I had to learn to adjust because I was committed to what I was doing. I also saw the value of connecting with people. And this is not just about being nice and friendly with other people, which is important. But I saw people that were able to make a genuine connection with production operators, were able to get their help, and they were able to get more information about processes and problems than those that didn't. This was really something that stayed with me, and I think it really transcends through various different industries. It doesn't matter if it was in the paper mill or if it's in surface mount industry or any other manufacturing place. The people that really are the most hands-on with the process, the operators, are the ones that hold the most valuable information about the process. So it's very good to be in good terms with them. As far as the rest of my career, here are a few other valuable things I learned. Understanding expectations. It's okay to ask for clarification, but it's not okay to wait till the last minute when a report is due, and then you're out of runway and basically you have unmet expectations. So it's very important to try to learn expectations and try to learn them early on. Like I said, it's okay to ask for clarification. Hey, I think you're looking for this. Am I right about that? Learning from mistakes and failures. It's okay to make mistakes, but it's not okay to not learn from them. The other thing is when mistakes happen, it's very important to own up to it and take responsibility for it. There are times that when a problem is too complex, then it's important to break it down. Always make a list. Make a list of all the different parameters, all the different components that could contribute to the problem, and work your way down the list. Be methodical about it. It can be a lot of rigorous work. It can be messy, but you have to be methodical about it. You have to follow a methodology and a thought process. Otherwise, it's just tedious work and it's easy to get lost in the details. Collaboration. It's very important that we're able to draw from other people's expertise. No matter how smart a person is, they're never going to be able to solve all the problems by themselves. It's just not possible. So it's very important to be able to collaborate with others and draw from their expertise and their experience. And to that, especially bringing diversity into the problem solving. It's not just about inclusiveness, which is on its own, it's very important. But if you're able to employ others that have different thought process because of the backgrounds and the experiences that they have been through, it just brings that much more intellectual horsepower to the problem solving that a team has to tackle. About my family, I am married and we have a son. Here is my son when he was 11 months old. And I thought raising a baby was very challenging until he turned into a teenager. He's 17 years now. And yes, he still challenges me sometimes. So balancing life and work, I got a great advice from one of my managers. Do both. I've gone back to this line like a mantra so many times when I was faced with this as a dilemma. Yes, having my son has been a humbling experience. Just when I thought I had figured things out and I knew how to deal with people, how to deal with schedules, with my work, with my relationship, my son came along and changed everything. Kids challenge you, they wear you out, they exhaust you, but there are definitely times that he has inspired me, and leaves me at awe. So, and there's nothing else that compares to that. So if you do want to do both, and I'm not saying that everybody has to do both, but if you do want to do both, meaning raising a family and being an effective professional, don't feel like you have to choose. You should be able to do both. You can do both. Never pass up the opportunity to learn. I went back to school about 10 years after I had graduated from engineering school. So that was tough. That was tough. I had to remember some old study habits. I had to learn some new ones. This is the cohort I was a part of for 19 months. We spent a lot of time together during those 19 months. They were all from different backgrounds, different industries, from power electronics, manufacturing, semiconductor, from research, finance, polymer, biomed. And I learned from their experiences and wisdom every time I was in their presence, every time we had a discussion and interaction. That was a very eye-opening experience. For someone that had worked with engineers all her career, this was a very good experience for me to be able to work with other professionals from other industries and other backgrounds and see how much they could all bring to the table. Then there came a time for me to assemble my team. So there are some things that I always look for when I do have the opportunity to do that. Curiosity. One of my technicians always delighted me when she was running an experiment. We would map out the experiment and all the different conditions, let's say ABC, and she'd come back with the ABC and the F based on some of the things that she had seen doing those experiments. She wanted to explore some other parameters. She wanted to explore some other conditions. I always delighted in her curiosity and how much joy she took in being able to explore the what ifs. Accountability. We talked about that when we were talking about the responsibility, taking responsibility. It's not about a witch hunt or finding someone to blame, but it's about being able to fully exploit what went wrong and correcting it. So that's what accountability is. And people should not fear accountability, and they should. This is what I was saying about owning up to mistakes, because that's what helps resolve problems. Discipline. Again, it doesn't have to be a grandiose thing. Discipline is showing in small gestures, but consistent manner. Showing up to the meetings in time and not being late. Always when you're walking around the floor, always have engineering notebook. If I see, even to this day, if I see young engineers or co-ops that are just being introduced to the manufacturing environment, when they're on the floor without their notebook, I ask them, "Where's your engineering notebook?" Because it's important. Those are the things that will help. Commitment. Commit yourself to the rigorous work. Like I said, it's not glamorous. A lot of times it's very messy. It doesn't come as a flash of genius. Innovation is not a flash of genius. It requires a lot of rigorous work, and it requires commitment to it. And of course, perseverance over talent. It's about not giving up. It's about, doing the 10th thermal profile when you're tackling a cold solder problem, and not giving up after the 8th or the 9th. I got an opportunity to take a different path. After about 15 years in operations, I had a unique opportunity to contribute to the design team at my current role. So it's very important. Don't be afraid to do something that's very different from what you have been learning and what you have been maturing in. And sometimes even taking a different path, sometimes it's not even a path that's defined. But as long as you can add value, don't be afraid to step off the path that's been defined and even make a path of your own, because it is worth it. So I've told you about myself and my opportunities and lessons that I've learned. I wouldn't be here without the support of many people in my life, especially the friends. When I was away from my family in undergrad, I would not have survived the rigorous academic challenges that an engineering program brings, and the mental challenges that come along with it, if it wasn't for my friends supporting me. They always made sure that I wasn't by myself. Let's say on a Thanksgiving weekend, when everybody went home, they brought me into their home and shared their holiday traditions with me. If it was watching It's a Wonderful Life, or if it was going to Christmas Eve Mass and then coming home and tearing into the tree. They always made sure to include me, and I'm very grateful for that. They, when it came my birthday, they made a big fuss about it. They brought me candles and cakes just to make sure that I didn't feel alone, and my birthday was not unnoticed. There were tough times. There were times that I was sick. There were times that I ended up in the hospital. And they were there for me. There were times that I would sob all night with a broken heart. They were there for me. I can't really pay them back for what they did for me, but it's very important to pay it forward, because you are going to be able to make a difference for somebody else. And also, today I'm blessed with the love and support of my husband of 21 years that we've been married. When I met him, I was very young and rather foolish. But I do think that marrying him was the best decision I made in my life. From the sleepless nights that he's been supportive with me with a newborn, to being there when I wasn't there for my son because I was at school pursuing my master's degree, to making dinner time the most special event for our family every day. He's an incredibly supportive person. He's a strong person and very motivated individual himself. He has an engineering career, and he's got a leadership role right now. And he's the rock of our family. I think being around him has boosted me to be able to accomplish what I have. So the lesson here is it's very important to pick the right partner. With that, I'd like to end with the line from Rumi: set your world on fire, seek those who fan your flames. I'm Artemis Record. Thank you for attending this session, and hope to talk to you soon. Bye.